My name's Anne. This is the Minifig for Life collection of minifigures. There's over 5,500 in the collection at the moment, and it's growing daily. We've even gained some in the last couple of hours. And they start off with the standard figures and go all the way down. We've got Duplo, Belleville, Scala, you name it. I've got everything. The only one I don't have, and when people say to me, what would you really like to get hold of? It's not a Star Wars figure, it's the Quattro fig. So if anybody wants to donate a fig to me, that's the one I want. So yeah, they, and you know, people sort of come to see this and they're like, wow, how many? It's not all of them. I am still collecting, but yeah, you can see that there's quite a few.
So what inspired this whole massive collection of minifigs here?
I don't know really. Andy started off with the Star Wars figs, don't they all? Boys and their toys. And then he was like, well, I'd quite like to get, you know, all the figs. And I went, do you mean all of them? And he was like, oh, I don't know. And I went, go on then. So I started, and it kind of became obsessive, as all collectors do. You think, okay, I've got to have that one. Yeah, if we're going to do that, then we might as well do that. And if we're going to do that, we might as well do that. And by the end of the session, it was like, okay, we'll have all of them then. So we did.
Where have you picked most of these up from? Just buying sets, or did you specifically buy particular figures?
We get them from all over the place. So we buy the sets, we will go out and just buy a fig. The guys, when they want Lego, will come to us and say, can we do a swap? If we give you these figs, can we have these bricks? Sure. When we buy job lots, like we go out and buy somebody's collection, I'll go through and I'll steal all the figures. I mean, I get all the figures for the collection. And yeah, and we just acquire them wherever and however we can.
Right, yeah, with a collection this size, that's what you have to do. So I guess then, can you maybe take us down the line and show us maybe some ones with an interesting backstory, or some of the more unusual ones that you've collected over the years?
Obviously, the guys that come to the show, they want to know the Star Wars fig, so you have to point out things like the Chrome C-3PO. And you've got other ones that are really into Frozen, or the Lego movie, or Ninjago is another popular one. So are the superheroes. So they kind of come along and try and spot them. They also want to know what my rarest fig is, which nobody ever guesses, not even all the AFOLs. But it's actually the guy stood up there on the silver plinth, and he was given out for the 25th anniversary ball that Lego did down in London in '88. And from the information that I can gather so far, we think that there were only 4 made.
Wow.
So
where did you pick that up from?
eBay.
Okay.
And he came with an etched glass which broke in the post, and the eBay seller actually gave it to me for free. So my most valuable, because he is priceless because you can't buy the parts, because Lego have never done those parts chromed, is actually free.
There you go, that's the way to do it.
So yeah, that was quite an unusual one. And of course we come down and we've got all the collectible series figs are in here. Later on we'll show you Mr. Gold, because I do have one of those. He's over the other side. And people sort of say, oh, you know, why don't you theme them? Why don't I have all the Star Wars figs together? And I turn around and say, well, if I do that, everybody would look at the Star Wars figs, everybody would look at the Harry Potter figs, but who would go and look at the plain torso city figs? They're not so interesting. This makes you look. It makes you look at them and say, wow, is there really that many? Because they are all different. So, yeah. And they sort of say to me, oh, do you have favourites? I kind of have 2. One of them is the original Dracula fig that they did with the studios ones, and the other one is the Nesquik Bunny, which is kind of, people think is odd. You know, why isn't it a posh Star Wars fig? I don't do Star Wars. Sorry, Star Wars guys, don't do it.
I'm getting the trend that Star Wars figs are just slightly popular.
Yes, yeah. With the kind of sort of 7 to 10-year-old boys, it's Ninjago at the moment. They all want to know, have I got Kai, Cole, and all the others? And I just have to say, what colour are they? And I'll let you know. My children aren't into that, they're the wrong age. And then, of course, we get people sort of looking at other things going, that's not Lego. It is all Lego. It just maybe you're the wrong age to have seen the Fabuland ones, so you don't know what they are. But yeah, you have to watch the Fabuland television series. I'm sorry, it's a must.
Is it? Okay.
Oh yeah, it's that bad, it's good. But people sort of say, "Oh, these aren't." Yeah, they are. Just because they're not the standard figures, they are still Lego. Yeah, we've got Jack Stone and all his friends from Junior.
Jack Stone is a somewhat controversial theme. I think most people not a big fan there. One of those early kind of 2000 themes that did not do so well.
It was, yeah. And I mean, we've got some of the buildable figures and what have you from the superheroes and from Ben 10 and Star Wars. But we've even gone down as far as all the Duplo and the Primo figs, which again people don't really recognise because they weren't around for very long for Primo. So they're like, what's that? And yes, the little robots, one of the, they only came back the other day. They've been away on a photo shoot. So they've only just come back. And then the ones that the toddlers all like. Yeah, so we've got Bob the Builder and Thomas the Tank Engine characters. The little robots in their larger format. Technic figs, which a lot of people don't recognise as being Lego. They think they're Playmobil. Honestly, they're not.
No, so what kind of sets and I guess maybe time period would those have been in?
So those were those in the 1980s they were from. So yeah, they didn't produce very many of them. They do come apart with a bit of effort, but they're not quite. They're much more articulated. And the scale of them is quite strange for when people build to that scale. They find it quite hard. And then we get down to the rather scary looking Forest Friends, which one or two of them are really scary.
Yeah.
They actually like they're wearing mankinis. So we kind of glossed over that. Coming down to Belleville figures, which a lot of the girls like because they are very articulate. You can play with them much more, and they have clothing so you can kind of dress them up and mess around with them much more.
So this would be kind of a predecessor to Friends then, as one of those themes that Lego kind of put out trying to connect with girls more.
Yes, this was one of their attempts at trying to get into girls. I quite like the Belleville stuff because it is system-based rather than having its own elements, which they did with the Scala. A lot of the Belleville is just system-based and can be used for other stuff, so it was quite useful that way. These are all models from the cars. We've got the Power Miners and various Star Warsy things that got shoved in. It's like, okay, put them down. Then we've got more Duplo. Again, we've got characters from the various TV shows that came out. And then down here, these are the Scala figs, which again people think are either, depending on which side of the pond you're from, Cindy or Barbie dolls. No, these are the Scala figs. Again, they came with clothing. Very 70s clothing is what they kind of put them with. It's a bit psychedelic, some of it. But this was their answer to Cindy and Barbie dolls. Let's make houses, give them something to play with. The Duplo dolls came mainly from the educational side of Lego, and they tend to use those a lot in nursery settings and primary schools because they're quite big and chunky. And again, it is very kind of kitchen-based, very housey stuff, which I find is a bit, it's just not me. We've got the very large Little Robots, which was a television series. I don't know if you guys had that.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with it. It might have been over in the US. I'm not sure.
So that was a television series that they did, and these are some of the characters from it. And again, you've got all the toddler stuff, which I could sell this to the kids dozens of times a day. It's quite fun. Can we buy it? No. Seriously, you can't. Then we're back onto the rest of the Star Wars and Ben 10 figures. I am missing one of those. If anybody has the missing one, I'll have it. And we even included the plush toys as well that we could find. So then we're on to, these are Bionicle figures. Again, it's one of those kind of controversial, you either love it or hate the Bionicle figs and series. The children seem to love it. Even now, they'll still buy it, they'll still make stuff with it. But the AFOLs, not quite so keen. There are some, and I've seen some fantastic models done with Bionicle. But it's one of those series that the AFOLs didn't like. Kids did. And then we're back up onto the standard figs where this is the one where everyone goes, oh, that's so-and-so, that's so-and-so. and the parents go, I'm going to be here a while, aren't I? I go, if they're going to name all of them, yeah, sorry. And we finish up at the top with the one that everybody wants to see. I don't know why. The Mr. Gold from the Series 10 collectible figs. Yes, I did find it in a box. No, I didn't buy it. But it took me 11 boxes.
Oh, wow.
And he was actually the penultimate packet in the last box. So we were quite pleased when we got him to kind of complete the collectible series fig.
That's dedication right there, 11 boxes.
Yeah, you do need to have deep pockets for this game. So that's what we did.
Very cool. Yeah, that's awesome. So how many years does this total then of a collection that you've been working on this?
We've been working on it about 10 years. Okay. So it's not taken that long really. But I don't think it will ever be complete, because trying to get some of the more exclusive, like the Comic-Con ones, is not easy. And of course Lego bring out new sets all the time. So we're constantly kind of, as far as I tick one off, I've got that one, I'm adding to the list at the other end. So.
Exactly. Now you need to start the keychain collection as well, get all the keychains.
No more. No more. One set is enough, thank you very much. Otherwise it's going to start getting silly. But yeah, it grows every year. You know, we've had people come this year that came last year and said, how many more have you got? And it's like, well, I've got 2 more cases than I had last year, so, you know. And next year there'll be at least another 2 cases from what we gather. So yeah, it just grows.
When you store these at home, is it like you have them on display here, or how does that work?
Unfortunately, there isn't the space to have it. It all just gets packed into boxes and stored at work. I don't actually get to play with them at all during the year. They just come out for various shows.
Minifigs.